Hi everyone, welcome back to Plum Mashable. So today I'm going to be decorating my gorgeous little bin I got from Lotsa Style Shop. So if you want to see how I did it, then just keep watching. So I've seen these bins popping up everywhere, all over Instagram, and I was really lucky that Lotsa Style Shop reached out and asked if I would be interested in having one too. So thank you very much to them for sending this one to me, but I do know it needs a little bit of decoration, so I'm going to bust out my design space and my Cricut and make something really pretty for it. Alright, so we're going to start off in design space because I'm going to show you how do I sort of import these. So the project is here. I've actually already made it up. I'm just going to double click on it, which will open it. And we go make it. Oh, actually we'll go customize first. So this is actually something that I drew or wrote myself using Procreate on my iPad. It was just me playing around with it, that's all it is. And then I've imported all the different bits and pieces all in together. This is what I want it to look like once it goes onto the front of my bin. I'm just making that one just a little bit bigger because it's just not quite right there. I'm just going to change the aspect ratio because I just want to make that a bit wider. There we go. So it's got the little drop shadow on there. I'm going to make the drop shadow, but I'm not sure if I'm going to use it. And my colours are going to be a little bit different because here I've got yellows and purples. But when we do it with the actual Cricut, we're going to make the stars a different colour and we'll make the hearts a different colour. But the black and the silver will be, and the grey of the shadow will be right. So we'll go up to the corner here and we hit make it. Now that we're happy with the sizing of everything, I'm just making sure I am happy with the sizing of everything. Yes, I am. So we go make it. And this is going to sort it into the different colours. So because we're using adhesive vinyl, we keep this on the right side. If we were using heat transfer vinyl, we'd need to mirror everything, which would then flip it around like you've just seen. Because we're using normal sticky, very much like a sticker kind of vinyl, we just leave it the regular way. But what it doesn't know what I'm doing with all of this, as in it doesn't necessarily know, the Cricut doesn't necessarily know what colour I'm putting in here, which is how we're going to be able to just make it be yellow and purple and whatever. So that'll make that right. So we'll jump back into sort of the real world for a second. And we'll just get in one of my mats. So I like to use the standard grips when doing anything vinyl. So I'm just going to take this protective sheet off. It just makes a bit of noise. So the very first one that we're going to be using here is the silver one that's got this magic on it. I'm actually going to, it's actually grey, but I'm going to use silver. Now I don't need very much, and so what I like to do is actually cut it, so I've only got a little bit on here, but I do tend to cut more than I think I need. It just means you're going to have a little bit of wastage, but it means you're not going to accidentally kind of run out. So you just stick it on your mat, and I can see that on here, this is down to just past 3 centimeters. Now I've got it, you can use it centimeters or inches. I tend to use centimeters because I do have it set up as centimeters in my design space, which helps me out. And I know it went to 10 and I've cut this to 11. So there's plenty of room there, and it goes down to 7 and I've only got it down to 3 on there. So that makes that very, very easy. So all you do is stick that down and then you open up the Cricut. This is where I haven't quite got enough room on my desk with my Cricut at the moment, but that's okay. So I'm just going to move my laptop over. Open up the Cricut, and we'll put this in. Load it up. I'm going to hit continue on my design space, which is just hitting the button. It's going to go through and say, do you want to continue, please connect your maker, which you'll now realise that it's there. I'm going to do premium vinyl, which I have set up as a favourite. I've already got my fine point blade in there. So all I'm going to do now is press go, and it's going to cut this out for me. So now that first mat is finished, we can pull that out. We've got the magic written on there. So that's everything we need for the silver one. I'm going to do the black one for you guys, and then the rest of them I'm going to do off camera because it is really simple once you sort of start doing this. So what you can do is you can hover over the mat to actually see how big it needs to be. So this one needs to be 30 centimeters wide, but it only needs to be down to 10 centimeters down. So I'm just going to sort of cut that about here-ish. So that first vinyl that we used was Cricut vinyl, and I just got that from Spotlight. This one is Metamark sign vinyl. I got this one from Katz here in Melbourne, but they do online. I love this stuff. I have, like, that's why I have this big chunk of it, because I really love this black. It's a gorgeous matte black. I just adore it. So do the same thing. We'll line this up on the top. And this is why I like to use the standard grip instead of the light grip. You can probably get away with the light grip, but I just find it sticks and I have less worries about it moving around. So do the same thing now, because it's already aware that we've started the project. All you have to do now is load the vinyl back in again and hit go, which will be the little flashing Cricut button over here. So just going to hit that and it's going to cut all the bits out. Alright, so there's the whole of the black. It's really hard to see, obviously, because it is sort of black on black. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish off cutting out my stars and my hearts. I'm going to do pink for the hearts and stars are going to be in blue. And then I'm going to come back, we're going to cut these out, and I'm going to show you how to line them up on my rubbish bin. Alright, so I've got all of the bits all cut out. So this is when we bring the rubbish bin in. So I'm going to take out the middle bit because I don't need that at the moment. And we're just going to work with the outer shell. Now, when it comes to using adhesive vinyl, I naturally prefer to use this kind of transfer tape as opposed to clear transfer tape, and that's just because I find this tears less often. I'm not going to use it today only because I need to really precisely put this down where I want it, and so therefore it becomes a little bit easier to use the clear stuff, but I'm just letting you know normally I would be using this one. So what we need to do is we need to get all the bits and pieces kind of cut and then onto the transfer tape so we can kind of decide how we're going to set it all down. So the easiest thing to do, got to weed it first, is to go around. You can sort of, it's really hard to see, but in real life it's actually not that hard, is where I've cut, and I'm just cutting that out because we're going to weed it in a second so it will be fine. So I'm just going all the way around it. And then we'll just weed this bit first. Now there are specific weeding tools that you can use. I find that my tweezers actually do a really good job, so I tend to use these instead. So I'm just peeling off the adhesive. I actually didn't get the adhesive there, I got the paper. Also helps to have fingernails, which I don't have, but that's alright. So we're going to peel this off. I'm going to peel it gently so that we don't lose any of the bits. Okay. Doesn't matter if it does that and it kind of tears a little bit. There we go. It's really cool seeing my own handwriting do this. That's the part of this that I love doing the most. That's actually something I wrote, which makes it kind of cool. So you don't need any of the what's the word I'm looking for? The reverse, I guess. So we can get rid of that. So I like to, this is where I'd put it straight in my bin normally, but just for the sake of this, I'll just put it off to the side. And this is where a really sharp pair of tweezers is really going to help you. Thankfully that E already came out. I don't have to worry about it. If there is any bits that are kind of not quite right, you can just sort of manipulate them with your tweezers a little bit, because these aren't completely smooth because obviously they've been handwritten. There we go. So you've got your first little bit. That looks so cool. I'm just going to do, now if you wanted to, which I do because I'm a bit of a saver, because I do have that whole bit that wasn't cut, I'm going to save it and use it on another project later. I do have like a vinyl, I had a vinyl box. I'll have a vinyl drawer at the new house. I've got to stop calling it the new house because it's not really the new house anymore. It's just home, isn't it? Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and weed everything really, really fast because you guys don't need to see it over and over again. And I'll be right back. Alright, so I've got everything nice and weeded. This is where we'll grab out our transfer paper. So the first one we need to do is this magic one. So I always cut more than I need, but I do use the lines because it helps me kind of line it up better. The easiest way to do this kind of layering effect with vinyl is to get it all onto your transfer tape first, and then you can start sort of building it up together. You know exactly where it needs to go, and it's a little bit easier. So I'm gonna do this first one with the magic, and then I'll do the rest of it super quick. So this is really easy. This is just like contact paper. So you pull that off and see how it's got the lines on it. Makes lining this up really easy. Whoops. When it doesn't do that. So I sort of stick that down, straight down the middle. There we go. You can peel this up. I like to peel it up with the paper still on it, and then you sort of sometimes have to give this a really good push to get it to transfer off. There we go. You might need to do that the whole way along. I do have an actual Cricut one of these, but I just can't find it at the moment. It's somewhere in here. This is just a scraper. It's just really good for doing exactly what I just did. So just pushing that down. There we go. So that is now ready to go down on there. So I'm just gonna tack that on there. So it's just been placed. That's all it has. And then we can move on to this next bit. So for this one, this is really the only bit that I need to line up. So I want to make sure that this is going to fit. So I think already this is going to be too low. But we can get the two main bits done, and then the rest of it you can almost do that without having to look quite so much. So do the exact same thing we just did. Sometimes it can be doing this and it won't, you know, sit still. So a little bit of washi is actually really helpful. So you can just stick it top and bottom. It'll usually hold it down. I'm doing the same thing I did before. I'm just trying to make that straight as I possibly can. Just stick it down. Grab that scraper and just give it a bit of a rub. And then pull it up. Get the washi tape out. You don't need that anymore. Okay. Oh, whoops. Gotta do this bit first, don't I? There will sometimes be bits that just don't want to come off. It's just a rub until it does, kind of thing. Alright. Oh, that's so cute. So I want it to sit there. So my top magic definitely needs to move up. This is why we just tack that on. It's going to peel up without any kind of a problem. And it is. It's a very much just a trying to get it right kind of thing. It's the only downside. You've got to make sure you don't get those two stuck together. I think it needs to come down just a little bit more. And it is a lot of trial and error here. You will pick it up and take it off and pick it up and take it off a couple of times. If you are really worried about it getting stuck too much, you can do that. And that way you're just sort of working with the sticky bit at the top as opposed to the top and the bottom. Yep, I think that's where I want it. So that got stuck to the plastic on the back there. So I'm just being really gentle when I pull that up. I've lost the M, but that's all right. Just gonna get it back on the sheet and off my finger, and I can make it straight later. At the moment she wants to stay attached. So get the magic down first. So all I'm going to do is just with my lead pencil, just mark very gently on here where that needs to sit. Oh no, I don't need to do that. What am I doing? I forgot that that can just go straight on there now. Duh. There we go. Gotta fix up that M. I might just stick it on, just so I don't completely screw this up. Ryan's just suggested doing this, which isn't a bad idea. I'm gonna move the M off to the side and we'll come back to it afterwards. So we'll line up the Adhesive, sort of where I want the shadow to be. You obviously don't have to have the shadow, I just wanted it to be a bit of a feature. Go. Now, Mr. M. Put it back on the actual paper and try that instead. Alright, that's not 100% perfect. I'm going to stick it down. I'm just going to manipulate this a little bit. It's not quite perfect, but it's pretty good. Oh, that's actually really cute. All right, so I'm going to very quickly work out where my stars and bits and pieces are going to go. You can reuse this transfer tape, which is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to pick up the star. So I'm just going to put that there, and then do the same thing with the other blue star and the two hearts. I'm happy with all of those, so we'll just take off the transfer tape. Just being very careful not to pull up any of the other letters. And then we can do the same thing with the outlines. Now the outlines are just like we lined up with the shadows, nothing too fancy with it. You sort of line it up so you're happy with where it sits. So I'll do the first one on camera and then the rest of it I'll go ahead and speed through. We'll just get that off there. So just line it up, okay, and then just peel that off. And you've got it perfectly lined up. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing with the others. Okay. The only other thing I still need to put on is just my little burst. Now, that piece of scrap is just a little bit too small. But rather than having to worry about actually cutting more, I'm going to stick that down with what I've got and grab a bit of the piece that I've already used. And you can just make it into an extra little bit. You don't have to line that up, but you can if you want to. One of my favourite things about transfer tape, whether you use this kind or the masking tape kind, is that it's actually really easy to stack it up or to make it wider or thicker or anything you like, really. So, I'm just going to see where that fits. I may have been a little too high on the top. The other cool thing that you can do with this, so I'm actually going to stick that down for these ones, so the ones on the side and then the ones at the bottom because I think they look fine, but I'm really not happy with the way the one on the right and the one on the top are going to sit. So I'm going to put them off and then move them in to where I want to put each of them. So these ones I'm going to put like that. It just wasn't where I wanted it to be. Now it is. And there we go. We have our little rubbish bin that's been all decorated. I will admit that needs to come down just a little. Not a lot, but just a little would have been nice. If you really wanted to try, you could grab hold of it all with some more transfer tape and try and move it down, but honestly, it's not going to bother me that much. I really actually like the shadow. I think that makes that look really cool. So then to turn it into the actual bin, we just grab the middle bit back. We get some of these little plastic bags, which actually come with the bin. You get 2 sets of them. Put them in here. You can washi tape it down if you want to, if you're really worried about it falling out. I haven't had a problem. Straight in there, and you have your gorgeous little rubbish bin that'll sit very happily on your desk, and then I can now use it to, you know, clean up all my mess. Transfer tape. It doesn't keep like everything in it, but just for little scraps on your desk, especially when you're weeding vinyl, especially heat transfer vinyl. This little rubbish bin on my desk is just perfect. It's so good just for chucking in the little bits and pieces that run around that then you don't have to worry about turning around to find in your bin or, you know, sliding it all off. It's so much easier. I love this little bin. I have got a little discount code for you guys as well if you are interested in getting one of these ones. They come really, really fast. They come through Australia Post. I've had no issues whatsoever with these. And this is probably one of my favorite accessories so far for my desk that I've gotten since we moved to the new house. So let me know what you think of my little quote and my little vinyl stuff. I'd love to hear what you think. If you want to see more vinyl projects here on my channel, please let me know. You can leave me a comment down below. I do want to send a big thank you to all of the people who answered my Instagram story on what I should put on my bin. I had some really great suggestions, so thank you guys so much for that. Don't forget to join in my giveaway too if you haven't already. I'll link that down below. Hope you guys have an absolutely fantastic day whatever you're doing, and I will see you again in my next video. Sending lots of huggles. Bye!